Hey, welcome to the Two Chumps Lightning edition. That means we run through these things fast. Emil and I are going to take you through the top college football games of the week, and then we're going to pick every NFL game for you right here, right now, and with no time to waste. Emil, we're going to kick this thing off noon on Saturday. Oklahoma, you remember them, once a top team in the country, is traveling unranked to go face Mississippi. Mississippi is a 21-point favorite. Sorry, I said Mississippi. People know them as Ole Miss. The Fighting Lane Kiffins are minus 21 versus
I
Oklahoma.
cannot bank Oklahoma in the current state. Give me Mississippi minus 21.
I can't trust Ole Miss anymore. I just don't trust them. I don't think any 21-point lead can be held against a semi good team. So I'm going to actually take Ole Miss on this one. Also at noon, Ohio State's at home taking on Nebraska. If you can forget what Nebraska did to you last week, go ahead and make a pick on this game.
Ohio State minus 25 and a half.
And well, Ohio State is in the situation that I like to capitalize a lot on every college football season. I'm not this week as a top pick, but Ohio State, after losing to Oregon, is spread watching. They know the number, they need to cover it. And since Nebraska obliged last week, they'll just have to do it again. Give me Ohio State.
Yeah.
Our next game, I think, is one you have been waiting for like 3, 4, 5 weeks, if not the beginning of the season. Notre Dame, 12 ranked Notre Dame, noon on Saturday, is going to take on number 24 Navy on the road. Notre Dame is a 13-point favorite in this game. Emil, which way you?
Navy's a pain in the ass, and they're not your dad's Navy. They can throw the ball a little bit now, which presents a whole other set of problems. I think this game is a good ball game, and I think they cover the 13 points.
Yeah, look, that triple option stuff is very difficult to get ready for, and Notre Dame didn't have the, um, you know, they weren't able to spend some time on this. They didn't have 2 weeks. They're not coming off of a bye. And not only is Navy a triple option team, Navy is a good triple option team. Tough for Notre Dame here, and you just don't get too fired up for Navy. Give me Navy in this one as 13-point underdog. All right, Illinois is going to travel to Oregon, 3:30 p.m. Eastern time kickoff. Oregon is a 21.5-point favorite in this game. Emil, how do you see?
Oregon spent a couple weeks. They were sniffing themselves. They beat Ohio State, big game. Illinois is a competent football team. Probably can't score enough in this game to hang with Oregon, but 21 is one of those games that feels like Oregon gets very bored late third quarter, and this feels like 30-13. So I'll take Illinois plus 21.
All right, this was our head-to-head matchup. So you already know I'm on the other side. I'm taking Oregon in this one. Emil, Oregon, just listen, there's almost like an asterisk on that Ohio State game. So Oregon is not in a situation where they can relax here. They do have to keep winning football games. I'm very leery of an Illinois team having to go out there in Oregon and play a football game. It's just very foreign and new to them. I think Oregon will rise up and get a little crazy on them. Plus, this number seems kind of weird. I'm going to take Oregon as a 21.5-point favorite. Texas, fresh off of that loss against Georgia last week, is going to travel to Vanderbilt. Weird start time here, 4:15 p.m. on Saturday. Texas is an 18.5-point favorite. Who do you like in it?
Vanderbilt can't sneak up on them after already getting Alabama this year. Texas has to come into this game with their hair on fire with what happened to them against Georgia, and I think they take it out on a team that they just have substantially more talent than. So I'll lay the points with Texas.
Texas, like Ohio State, is in that situation now where they've got to see the spread, cover the number. They know what the number is. And like you said, Vanderbilt is not going to sneak up on anyone. Texas will prepare for Vanderbilt like they are Georgia because they need to. And I think in that situation, this number is too low. Give me Texas as 18.5-point favorite. All right, you can't take my word on this one. I'm going to take a matter of fact, I'm not going to take this one. I'm going to leave it to you. 7 o'clock Saturday night, Florida State takes on Miami. This rivalry is not what it once was. Certainly is not the rivalry that I played in. Miami is a big 21-point favorite in this. How do you see it, Shane?
The ebb and flow of this rivalry has not synced up for 20 years now, or at least 15. So, when one team's been good, the other's been down, and vice versa. Florida State's down. I mean, they're way down. They lost 23-16. I just don't see how they can score enough points in this game to hang with Miami. Even though Miami's shown an Achilles heel on defense, I think this is a game they can start to correct some issues defensively, and I think they'll pay attention there. And I just think their offense can score on anybody. So I'm going blowout city here. This one to me just feels like 45-17 or 45-14 Miami.
Yeah, I'll look. I obviously have no opinion on it, and if I did, no one should take it seriously anyway. I'm a University of Miami alum, so I would just say 21 points is a lot in this rivalry. Just shocking for me to even see that, but it is. Florida State has been hold your nose bad, so the number is what it is. All right, 7:30 on Saturday. Penn State, number 3, Penn State travels to face Wisconsin. Penn State is a 6.5-point favorite. Emil, I have a sneaky suspicion which way you're going to go on this, but let it out publicly. Where you go?
Thing is, Penn State had a good laundry win, what I call laundry against my Trojans. It's being overvalued. USC at best is an average football team this year that finds a way to lose at the end. They found a way to lose at the end against Penn State. They got a week off, and they have Ohio State next week. I think somewhere in there they get real full of themselves because they beat USC, which still means something. Teams still storm the field when they beat them. And they got a week to think about Ohio State, and in between, they're forgetting that Wisconsin's always a solid football team. They're 5-2. I think Penn State probably figures out a way to win, just like they did against USC. I don't think they cover the spread. I'll take the 6.5.
I'm going to go with that same false bravado, angle. I just, coming off that USC win with Ohio State next is a very tough sandwich to be in. And this is a tough team to have in your sandwich. Okay. This is a tough piece of meat to have to chew and digest. Wisconsin is always going to come physical. They're not going to give up. They're going to play solid football, even if you're better than them. So I don't know if Penn State is ready to just mentally be in a football game for 60 minutes. Perhaps they find a way to pull this out, or maybe it's just one of those sick upsets that make you, vomit if you're a Penn State fan. Just don't really like them covering this number here. A bit of a rivalry, if we could say, as almost seemingly every SEC game is 7:30 on Saturday. Number 8 LSU, fresh off of yet another big win, is going to travel to take on Texas A&M in College Station. The favorite in this game is Texas A&M minus 2.5. Emil, what do you think?
Purely, I'm going to just take the points here and hope. I think this is going to be if you don't have a rooting interest, this is a good game to watch and probably not have a wager on it. Just enjoy it. I think it's going to be a competitive game. I could see it breaking either way, but since it's 2.5, I'll grab the points because I think it could be one of those games if somebody wins 20-19 or something.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think it's a very competitive game. I like what LSU has put together over the last few weeks. I think they're coming on strong. Texas A&M also has done some really good things. They look good on defense. They've got a playmaker at the quarterback position, but I just don't think they've got enough there to hang with LSU for a full 60 minutes. I think they get into a shootout, and LSU just has one more bullet than Texas A&M. So I am going to roll with you. I'm going to take the Tigers as 2.5-point underdogs. All right, Southern Methodist and Duke. This is a top play of yours. 8 o'clock on Saturday. Southern Methodist, SMU, is an 11.5-point favorite. These are like 1983 lines that we're looking at here. This is Pony Express lines. I think personally, Emil, that's a little bit of a slap in the face for a good Duke team. It's still a slap in the face, but it's close to making me kind of question, well, why is this number 11? Not quite there, though. So I'm going to just call it disrespect and take Duke as an 11.
I'm on Duke. If you want more on that, go to the big show and watch it.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are agreeing on that one. And then finally, the Battle of Kansas. Kansas is traveling to take on Kansas State, 8 p.m. on Saturday night. Kansas State is a big 11-point favorite. Emil, who do you got?
I think the Kansas season's devolved from what it was supposed to be. There was high expectations around them, and I know this is a rivalry game, and I hate to do this, but I was high on Kansas State all year, and I still am. I think they're a really good team, and I think they figure out a way to cover this 11 at home.
I agree with you. Kansas State is a good football team. You were higher on them coming into the season than I was, but I just, I remember this team playing against Colorado, and I think Kansas is good enough. This is probably their season. It's not what they thought it would be, but if you can jam a knife into the side of Kansas State, then Kansas has kind of, salvaged their season to this point. I think they'll fight to the death and find a way to scramble inside of this big number. The fact that it's over 10 really has me here. So I'll take the points with Kansas as an 11-point underdog. All right, we got to slide over to the NFL. That's our lightning round there. If you want more on Emil's top pick on this, I'm not in the top 10 or 25 at all this week. I'm gone off the beaten path. If you guys want my top picks, you can check them out on the regular Two Chumps Football podcast. You can find it right here on this channel. And you can get Emil's college football picks this week, which does include his pick on SMU versus Duke with a little more detail. Check that out. I'll have a link to it in the description as well. But it's time now for us to lightning our way over to the NFL. And Emil, we start off hot and heavy here on Thursday night. Minnesota is taking on the Los Angeles Rams. They are 3.5-point favorites in this contest as they try to lick their wounds. Actually, no, we've got them at 2.5-point favorites.
Not going to keep this. I'm not going to be complicated on these NFL picks. Give me Minnesota off a loss. Real simple. They're the better team.
Yeah, this number is way too low. Got to take Minnesota here. Everything didn't go down the drain just because you lost to a very good Lions team. So give me Minnesota. Baltimore and Cleveland is one of my big plays for the weekend. If you want more on that, if you want more detail on that, check out the Two Chumps Football Podcast regular show. I'm taking Cleveland in this game as big 8.5-point underdogs at home. I think they'll be fine at quarterback. They play good defense.
Fat point spread off a big primetime game, short week. Give me the Browns.
Another big play for me, another top pick for me is Tennessee taking on Detroit. And I do like Tennessee in this game, even though they're on the road. Detroit just finished this big-time win over Minnesota. Now they've got to muster up enough energy to go cover an 11-point spread in an NFL football game. Tennessee's not the worst team in the league. This is a spread that you would give the worst team in the league, and they certainly are not that. So I'll take them as 11-point underdogs.
I'm a complex guy. I gave you the Lions on the big show in the Survivor pick. I'm going to take the Titans, though, to hang within a fat number here.
Another one of the early games is Miami taking on Arizona at home. Emil, yes, I know Arizona's traveling over into the Eastern time zone. It's coming off of a big win on Monday night. It's a short week, but I have seen nothing from the Dolphins over the last 3-4 weeks, basically since Tua's been out, to comfortably have them as a favorite against anyone, and they're laying 3.5 points in this one. I don't like it. Give me Arizona. They could play the kind of game they played on Monday night. They could win this game outright.
Look at us with all this agreement. Big Kyler Murray fan here. I'll take 3.5 easily. Dolphins are not a good football team right now.
All right, Jets, New England, I'm not going to touch for obvious reasons. What are your thoughts? The Patriots are 7-point underdogs in this game against the Jets. Folks, you got to head over to that other Two Chumps Football podcast and hear Emil's takedown of the New York Jets. But do you like them this week?
No. There's no way I'm laying 7 points with the Jets in any situation until they show me a complete football game. That team, it just looks like they got a quarterback who's over the hill, and I don't see how they can be that excited coming off that loss. I just think they're a mess. Give me the Patriots to somehow hang in this game +7.
Emil, also at 1 o'clock, Atlanta is traveling to take on Tampa Bay. Atlanta is a 2.5-point favorite in this one. As soon as we're done taping this show, Emil, I'm going to hop in the car and head up I-75 and jump in uniform for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I caught a couple touchdown passes as a wide receiver in high school. Tampa needs a wide receiver. I'm available. I'm going to go jump in there. Nevertheless, though, I would love to just look. Mike Evans is out. Godwin's out. And it just seems like there's no way Tampa Bay can win this game. So I'll take Tampa Bay. That's just how this thing goes.
The only reason I'm going to take Atlanta, they were embarrassed last week, and there's something with Tampa that I think if they had some sort of speed bump defensively, I would consider them. But when you give up 27 in a win against the Saints and top it off by giving up 41 to the Ravens, it says to me that Atlanta should be able to move the football, and that really doesn't bode well for a team that has no wide receiver. So I'm going to roll with the road favorite there.
Gotcha. Green Bay is traveling to take on Jacksonville. Green Bay. This is a big play for you. And so again, you guys can head over to the Two Chumps Football regular podcast and find more detail on Emil's pick. Emil, I'm actually opposing you on this one.
Okay.
My thoughts are Jacksonville has been over in London for 2-3 weeks now. Not only have they probably changed their accent and eaten different food, they've got to acclimate themselves. It won't take much, I think, to knock Jacksonville off of their center. Watching this, you know what, Emil, you know what I've noticed, just not to go off on a tangent here, it just really looks like Trevor Lawrence has lost his confidence. I've never seen a guy check down to the back as much as this guy has been doing lately. He just is not looking to push that ball down the field. I don't know. Maybe it's the 3 picks in 1/2 in that playoff game, but he's just not confident. Meanwhile, Green Bay's quarterback will throw the ball anywhere from any place at any time. I think that works for them this week. Give me Green Bay.
Well, if Trevor wants to get his confidence back, he should do a screen share with the CPA and look at his bank account because it's fat. I'm taking the Jags in that game.
All right, Indianapolis is traveling to Houston in this NFC or AFC South battle. The Texans are 6-point favorites in this game. Emil, how do you see it shaking?
I'm going to grab the Texans. Simple.
Simple as that.
Coming off a loss, good football team, tough loss in Green Bay. They want to get that taste out of their mouth. I think they do it this week.
There's one team that the Indianapolis Colts throughout history have been able to play well against. It's the Houston Texans. 6-point underdogs in this one. I like Indianapolis' rush defense. I think it'll set up everything else they're trying to do defensively. They'll keep this game close. Houston may indeed win it. I can't see them losing back-to-back, but I think a field goal kicker, like you always say, a guy with a funny shoe, settles this game. Philadelphia and Cincinnati is a big pick for you. All right, that's the top pick for Emil this week. So once again, check out Two Chums Football Podcast, the regular podcast, to get more detail on that. I'm gonna roll with you, Emil. I'm sitting around waiting for the fire to start blazing over there in Philadelphia, and Cincinnati really needs this. They showed what they could do when they really need it last week. Let's see if they can go 2 weeks in a row with this. Give me Cincinnati as a small home favorite in this one.
Yep, I agree.
He agrees. All right, Cincinnati's a top pick for him. The Saints are traveling. They're going to get on some grass and get out of that indoors, and they're going to face the Los Angeles Chargers. Emil, this is one of those big movers. It's opened at 3.5 in favor of the Chargers. Now it's 7. I don't know why, but that is the case. So the Chargers are 7-point favorites in this game. I don't care, Emil, that the lines move this much. I was a believer in the Saints. They made me look good for 2 weeks, and then that was about it. It's like they scored all the points in the first 2 weeks and said, we'll take about a couple of months off here. Give me the Chargers at home off of a loss, laying a touchdown.
Yeah, I went back and forth on this one, and I think the only thing that's going to keep me staying with the Saints and taking one more shot with them +7 in this game is the fact the Chargers, even when they win, are very offensively challenged this year. And it showed in their loss on Monday night. They kicked 5 field goals. They just haven't figured out a way how to, convert red zone to touchdown. Now, maybe that happens this week. And if it does, I'll be a loser. But I'm going to stay with the Saints one more week to figure out a way to get inside that number.
Yeah, in the 4 p.m. window, Seattle is at home. They're 3-point underdogs against Buffalo. Emil, we were both surprised by what Seattle was able to do last week. And I think it's just a little matter of disrespect here that they are, underdogs at home. Yes, I know everyone has high expectations for Buffalo. I don't know if I can trust my man Josh and the Bills in this situation. This one really a lot of a coin flip for me. But I'm going to take the disrespected home team getting points in the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, I was surprised by Seattle last week, but I have to be honest with you, I'm not going to overcomplicate this one. The Bills need to get on a little roll. They're 5-2 now. I still think they're one of the 4 or 5 teams that I could see winning it right now. And I think they get it done. And 3 is not a huge number, so I'll lay the points with the Bills.
Also late on Sunday, the Chicago Bears are traveling to take on the Washington Redskins. And they are favorites in this game. They've had a week off. I think this is too much for the Bears right here. I just don't think you're ready to lay any
Well, that's
points.
based on Daniels being banged up.
I'm not worried about that. Marcus Mariota looks more than competent running this thing. I thought he looked good coming in there as a backup. He's an experienced former starter in this league. Is he Jaden Daniels? No, not quite. But I like what Marcus Mariota brings to the table. So I will take them as home underdogs in this. The number is 3.
I'm going to play the Commanders as well and go
You
against
said
my
Commanders. Give me a laugh.
yeah, give you the Redskins. I'm going to play them as well and go against my USC alum Williams here, only because this is a Dan Quinn play, even though he's the head coach and not defensive coordinator. I think they game some stuff up to confuse the rookie in this game, get a couple turnovers, and eventually that leads to a nice home win for them.
This next game was very difficult for me. When Denver opened up as 7, I said, yeah, I could see that because I don't trust the Carolina Panthers
Right.
under any situation, anywhere, at any time. And then they created a situation where I could trust them. And that is making Denver, with a rookie quarterback, 10-point favorites. Too much cheese on this pizza. Big win, then a layoff. I can't buy this. I'm going to take Carolina to hang around. Even though Bryce Young is back in there, Bryce Young has had a couple of weeks to sit here, take a look at things, and decipher and figure out, and maybe he'll do something new, and maybe the team can kind of rally around at least for 1 week. It's a change. I think Carolina finds a way to sneak inside of this number. Too much cheese.
I agree with you. I think this is a tough spot for Denver, coming off what was sort of a revenge game for them, for their coach against the Saints, and then sitting around for an extra few days, thinking they're maybe better than they are, and now being asked to cover a double-digit spread. It's still the NFL. Panthers are still professionals. They get a check on Tuesday. So I'm going to hope they show some professionalism and take the 10 points.
Last game in that 4 o'clock window on Sunday, Kansas City is traveling to Las Vegas. This is a top pick for me. They're 10-point favorites against the Raiders. I'm taking the Raiders in this one. If you want more on that, check out the other Two Chump Football podcast.
And mine is simple. You look at most Kansas City game logs for a season, there's not a ton of blowout wins. They just win. Wins are wins in the NFL. They win by 7, they win by 4, but they don't have a ton of 20-point wins. So I'm going to grab the Raiders. Big rivalry game in the old AFC West. I'll take the Raiders plus 10.
Dallas and San Francisco is a top play for Emil, so check out the other Two Chumps Football podcast if you want more detail on that. Emil, I'm going to actually slide with the 49ers on this one. Don't feel great about it. I'm not sure who's going to be playing wide receiver, but I just don't think you can lose to the Chiefs, come back out, lose again. That's just too much losing. I cannot fathom all that losing happening for the San Francisco 49ers. If they were coming off of that win over the Chiefs, I would for sure be all over the Cowboys, and I'd probably be getting more points to do this. But I think off of that loss, they find a way to win this game and barely somehow cover this number.
Well, I'm on Dallas. Go to the big show if you want the analysis for that one.
All right, and this final one was our head-to-head this week. The Steelers are at home. This is on Monday night, and the Steelers are 4.5, or actually no, they're 6.5 point favorites in this game against the New York Giants. I'm going to take the Steelers in this one. I like the way Russ cooks.
Yeah, I think this is the trap that's going to be laid for people. Yes, I know the Giants lost 28-3, and God knows we know they're challenged in many areas. But I don't think the Steelers are an offensive juggernaut because of one game. I think that was a combination of Aaron Rodgers' turnovers and whatnot. Somehow I think this turns into one of these old school, grind it out, Pittsburgh-type wins, 16-13. We're falling asleep. We can barely keep our eyes open on Monday night. So, we won't have to. I think is there a World Series game on Monday night?
They're very
Yes.
is
We won't
Yes,
even have to
there should
keep
be.
our eyes open. Chad's a Yankee fan. I'm a Dodger fan. We'll be watching baseball.
Won't even know what happened here. Have your score app open.
So give me the Giants.
Yeah, that's it for us. That's our lightning round. We are out of here. 10 top college football games, all the NFL games picked right here by yours truly and Emil Calomino. We are out of here, folks. Check us out next week.